Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a bit different. We're stepping way back, really far from the usual modern self-help stuff.
Yeah, way back.
We're going to explore this ancient and honestly pretty intense framework for how we learn, how we gain knowledge, and how it's passed on. You, our listener, are looking for clear, solid ways to get perspective, and the source text we've got today.
Well, it's fascinating. It's like a handbook for the ethics of learning.
It really is. And it lays out duties for two key people.
Right. The student, traditionally called the müteallim, the seeker of knowledge.
And the guide, or the teacher, the Ulum. 10 duties for the student, 8 for the teacher. It's quite structured.
Okay, so our mission today is to sift through these rules, pull out the ones that feel, I don't know, the most surprising or timeless. We're not just talking what to learn, but really how both the student and the teacher need to prepare themselves on the inside.
Exactly. And what hits you straight away is that learning isn't just about, brain power or IQ.
Right. The foundation, according to this text, is really moral and ethical purification. It turns studying from just collecting facts into something much deeper, like a lifelong spiritual
A
path.
spiritual project. I like that.
Yeah. And it all kicks off with this essential first step, making yourself ready, truly ready to actually receive wisdom.
Okay, let's unpack that. Readiness. The very first duty for the student is purification. Cleansing yourself internally, removing bad morals, blameworthy qualities, as the text puts it. Now, that sounds like generally good advice, sure, but this source gives it, critical importance.
It does. And it uses this really powerful analogy to explain why. It says acquiring knowledge is like the worship of the heart.
Worship of the heart.
Yeah, and the prayer of the secret self. So just like if you were going to pray physically, you need to be clean, ritually pure on the outside. This worship of the heart, this learning, needs inner purity. The knowledge you're after has to be useful and acceptable, nafi and makbul. That requires a clean inner space.
And it gets more vivid. The heart is described as a kind of house, right? A place where angels dwell, and they're the ones who bring the light of knowledge.
Exactly. But, and this is the key part, if that house is full of certain negative things, the angels just won't come in.
So what are these things, these internal roadblocks that stop learning, both then and presumably now?
Well, the source lists things like anger, lust, envy, arrogance, and it calls them barking dogs.
Barking dogs. Okay.
Yeah, it's a strong image. The idea is simple. Angels, who bring this divine light of knowledge, won't enter a house where there's a dog.
So apply that to us now, if you're full of arrogance.
Right. If you're arrogant, you walk into any learning situation thinking you already know it all. Your mind's basically shut.
Makes sense.
Or envy. If you're consumed by envy, you're not focusing on your own learning journey. You're just watching others, comparing yourself. So this purification isn't just nice to have. The text says it's mandatory. It creates the inner space and humility you need for new truths to actually land.
That really reframes learning. It's not just about absorbing information. It's about becoming the kind of person who can absorb it.
Precisely.
So if the first duty is getting your inner house in order, the second one tackles focus, external focus.
Yeah, this one's tough. It says the student has to minimize worldly attachments, less focus on wealth, family, even homeland ties.
Wow.
And it quotes this line, God did not put two hearts inside a man.
Okay, that's a huge challenge for anyone today, right? Trying to balance a job, family, life, and still learn deeply. How do we square that with this almost monastic level of focus?
Look, the text is pretty uncompromising. It says scattered thinking just can't grasp deep truths. And the core message is blunt. Unless you give yourself completely to the knowledge, knowledge will not give you even a part of itself. It's presented as almost an all or nothing deal.
So if your mind is pulled in 10 different directions, work, stress, social media, family stuff, and trying to study,
Then the knowledge you're trying to gain stays superficial. The analogy they use is like water spread thin on dry ground.
it just evaporates or sinks in without doing much good.
Right. It needs to be gathered, focused, channeled, like irrigating a field so it can actually nourish something.
That makes the pursuit of knowledge sound intense.
Yeah.
Like it demands total commitment.
It absolutely does in this framework.
And that intensity leads us straight into the third duty, which is about the relationship with the teacher, the guide.
Yes. And this one requires radical humility. The student has to surrender the reins of the matter entirely to the teacher, No arrogance, no arguing back.
The analogy used is really specific, isn't it? The student should be like an ignorant patient dealing with a skilled and compassionate physician.
Exactly. Submit to the treatment plan, essentially.
But here's the part that feels really radical, maybe even risky today. The text says the teacher's error is actually more beneficial than the student's own correctness.
Right.
That sounds problematic. Like it could lead to just blindly following someone, even if they're wrong. Why take that risk?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But the idea isn't about blindly following a person's every whim. It's about trusting the process and the experience the guide represents.
Okay.
The teacher, ideally, operates from a place of deeper experience. They might know things about the learning path, potential pitfalls, things the student just can't see yet. It references the story of Kidr and Moses.
Yes, where Kidri does things that seem wrong to Moses.
But Kidr has a deeper understanding. He tells Moses, basically, you won't have the patience for things you don't understand yet. The student's correctness might be right on the surface level, but wrong in the context of the overall journey. The teacher's error, in this view, might be a necessary step or lesson planned by someone who's actually walked the path before.
I see. So it's trust in the methodology, the map, not necessarily every single opinion the teacher holds.
That's a good way to put it. Trust the map maker's experience of the terrain.
Okay. Which connects nicely to the fourth duty. This one feels incredibly relevant right now. Be cautious about information overload.
Oh, absolutely. The text warns beginners specifically. Avoid listening to lots of different opinions and controversies early on.
But we live in the age of constant debate. Every viewpoint is a click away. Why did this ancient text see that early exposure as dangerous?
Because, it argues, diving into complex debates too soon just causes confusion and dismay. Intellectual chaos, basically. It makes the mind unable to grasp the fundamentals. Think about it. If you haven't even learned basic addition, jumping into debates about advanced calculus is just going to overwhelm and maybe even discourage you completely.
So foundational clarity first.
Yes, and the text is quite harsh about teachers who don't provide that, who just present a confusing buffet of different arguments without establishing a solid base. It says such a teacher misleads more than he guides.
Wow. Okay, so the whole path for the student seems designed around clearing inner clutter, reducing outer distractions, submitting to a proven method, and protecting the mind from too much debate until it's strong enough.
That's a great summary of the student's initial responsibilities.
All right, let's flip this. What about the teacher, the müteallim? What are their key duties? The second one listed really jumps out. Pure intention.
Yes, this is central. The teacher has to emulate the prophet, meaning they shouldn't be seeking payment or rewards or even thanks.
No payment, no reward, not even gratitude. That's pretty radical, especially in today's world where education is often a transaction.
It is, and it goes further. The text actually says the teacher should see the student's presence as a favor done to the teacher.
Okay, hang on. That seems completely backward. How is the student doing the teacher a favor?
Because the student is offering their heart ideally, purified and prepared as the ground for the teacher to sow the seeds of knowledge.
Ah, like lending a field.
Exactly, like someone lending you their best land so you can plant your crop. The act of teaching, done purely for God's sake, benefits the teacher spiritually, perhaps even more than the student, because they are fulfilling a sacred duty. The student provides the opportunity, the fertile soil.
That completely flips the usual power dynamic. The teacher needs the student as much as the student needs the teacher, but for different reasons.
Precisely. It frames teaching as a sacred trust, not a job.
Okay, and thinking about what gets planted in that field, the student also has a duty, their eighth duty, about understanding that not all knowledge is equal. There's a hierarchy.
Right. Since you can't learn everything, you need to prioritize.
So how do you determine what's the noblest science, the most important thing to pursue?
The source gives two criteria. First, the nobility of the fruit, the outcome or result of that knowledge.
Okay, the end goal.
And second, the strength of the proof, the reliability of the evidence supporting it.
Can you give an example?
Sure. The text compares, say, the science of religion to the science of medicine. It argues religion is nobler because its fruit is eternal life.
Right.
While medicine's fruit, though valuable, is temporary life in this world. So even if another science, maybe like math, has incredibly strong proofs, the ultimate purpose or fruit is what determines its rank in this hierarchy.
And the highest purpose?
Is always Marifatullah, the knowledge of God. All other learning should ideally lead towards or serve that ultimate goal.
That's a powerful lens for looking at, well, everything we choose to study or pursue. Is it serving the temporary or the eternal?
Exactly. And sticking with this theme of being careful and focused, the teacher also has a crucial duty, the sixth one mentioned, about being discerning about who they teach certain things to.
Meaning, not everyone gets the advanced stuff.
Pretty much. The teacher is warned not to share really deep, profound truths or complex metaphysics with the average person if their intellect isn't ready for it.
Why not? Isn't sharing knowledge always good?
Yeah.
We live in an age pushing for open access to everything.
The text quotes the prophet. We address people according to the measure of their intellects. The danger, it suggests, is like casting jewels before swine, not meant as an insult, but as a practical warning. If you shake someone's simple, solid faith with complex ideas they can't properly process, you risk confusing them so much they abandon the path altogether. You could end up doing more harm than good.
So for most people, the focus should be on
Established ethics, core beliefs, practical guidance. The deep metaphysical stuff is like strong medicine. It needs to be given carefully, in the right dose, to the right patient, at the right time. The goal is to lift people up, not crush them under intellectual weight they aren't prepared for.
That really pushes back against the information dump model we sometimes see today, which brings us back to this flood of information. If anyone can claim to be a teacher online, and every secret is supposedly available, how do we navigate that?
Well, there's that incredible piece of advice attributed to Ali.
Which is?
Do not know the truth by the men, but know the truth so you may know its people.
Say more about that.
It's so relevant today. It means don't judge an idea's truthfulness based on who is saying it, their fame, their power, their charisma.
Right, judge the message, not the messenger's status.
Exactly, but also don't dismiss real truth just because the person delivering it might seem unimpressive or even flawed. Focus on the substance. Does the knowledge itself hold up? What is its fruit? What's the evidence? Judge the truth, and then you'll recognize the people who genuinely align with it.
That's a vital skill in the digital age. Assess the information, not just the influencer.
Couldn't have said it better.
So putting this all together, it's a remarkably complete system, isn't it? Demanding inner work, pure motives from both sides, and a very specific view of the world.
It really is, and that view sees the world itself as just temporary lodging.
A mental.
Right, and the body is just the vehicle, the merkub, that carries the soul on its journey towards the ultimate goal.
Which is?
The eternal reward, the meeting with God, likaibari. And the text is very clear. If you find that worldly comforts are getting in the way of that ultimate pursuit,
You prioritize the eternal.
you prioritize what lasts forever.
This whole discussion forces a really crucial question, I think, for anyone teaching or learning anything today. What's our actual motivation deep down?
Yeah.
And to leave you, our listener, with something to really chew on, there's this anecdote in the source about a scholar, Sufyan al-Thawri. He was seen looking really sad, grieving almost. Someone asked him why, and he said, this is pointed, we have become merchants for the children of the world. They study with us until they become scholars.
Okay.
And then they use that knowledge to become judges or governors. They cash it in for worldly power.
Oof. That really hits home, doesn't it, that core tension? Are you using knowledge for its true purpose, for that eternal ascent we talked about, or is it just a tool, a ticket to get status, authority, wealth in this world? That, the text implies, is the ultimate test for both the student and the teacher. Are you serving the truth, the master, or are you just using knowledge to serve the servant, your own ego, your worldly ambitions?
A profound question to end on. Is the house of your heart ready for wisdom? And what will you do with it once it arrives? Something to think about after today's deep dive.